So I was supposed to be on the stage, I guess, at 10 o'clock this morning, and instead I was at my hotel replying to email. I hadn't checked in, and so nobody knew where I was. And there's a little bit of an irony in there somewhere, and I'm still trying to find it. So we've cleaned everything up, and I really appreciate your flexibility today. I wish it was an elaborate April Fool's joke, but it's not. But here I am. My name is Josh Williams. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gowalla. And our journey into the location space is a little bit unusual. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that today, and then some of the human behaviors that we've seen as we've started to build this service that inspires people to go out and explore the world. My background's in product design. And so about 8 years ago, I started a company that specialized in iconography and user interface. So a lot of our clients were mobile clients, web application clients. We did work for Samsung, Microsoft, and the like. Our big shtick was that we did little icons, the little buttons on the phone, basically pretty little pieces of art that allowed software to work. And over time, our services, there wasn't a lot of people who did this sort of thing. And we ended up in a place where we had far more work than we knew what to do with. So we created a stock site called Icon Buffet to sell basically the clippings from our icon floor to the public. And we wrapped a little bit of a viral marketing gimmick around that, where we let a web designer or developer come in, and we give them a free set of icons. And oftentimes these icons were kind of just meaningless. It might be like a pizza or a robot or something that really had no true value to it other than it was just fun and pretty. And in order to collect all the icons, you would have to bring in, invite your friends to come, and you would swap and trade them almost Pokemon style. We did this thing, and about a year into it, we had about 40 or 50,000 users on there. It was like this niche social network of designers and developers swapping icons. So we began to ask ourselves, like, wow, I wonder what projects people are actually using these icons, for. So we did a survey and got the results back of that and found out that 85% of the people on Icon Buffet had never actually used the icons for anything. They were simply there for the social outlet and the idea of collecting these beautiful little pixels. And so this began to get us fascinated with this idea of what else can we get people to do by giving them pretty little icons. And I was friends with Sean Parker, founder of Napster and more recently Causes on Facebook, and we had started playing around with this idea of allowing somebody to give a virtual good that was, say, a malaria net, a mosquito net, to prevent malaria, or a bottle of water. And by paying for these things with real money on Causes, you could send the gift and it would go on somebody's profile on Facebook, and then in reality, a real mosquito net was being bought for a child in Africa. And Sean and I began to talk about, like, what could we do with these icons on Facebook. It originally manifested itself in a little bit of a social game we called Pack Rat. But after a while of doing that, I found myself in Tahoe in October of 2008. And kind of asking ourselves, like, what are we going to do next with these icons? Obviously, they have power. And I guess I was overwhelmed by the beauty of the nature of the surrounding area and, like, this great big world that we live in that's so remarkable. And I thought, if we can use, iconography to get somebody to, say, give a gift on Facebook or to play a game, can we use that same sort of mechanic to actually inspire somebody to go out and explore the world around them? And this is the sketch from Tahoe in October of 2008. On the left here, we've got, kind of a pencil sketch of, like, places in California that you might check in. We adopted sort of this passport metaphor that I might go somewhere. We'd use the GPS on the phone. You'd check in, and in essence, we were stamping your passport with this icon. And the technology, again, I guess it was mentioned in the Facebook presentation earlier, we're finally in a place where the devices have arrived at a mass market to allow these sorts of interactions to happen. We'd not done very much, mobile development. While we'd done design work, we hadn't developed much. But we decided to dive into this. And we launched our first version of the iPhone app, kind of a sketchy beta, at South by Southwest in 2009. So this is about a year ago. We had some interesting GPS issues in that we we're overly strict in how we interpreted your location. Again, if we were stamping people's passports, we wanted to make sure that you were within reasonable distance of the place that you said you were if we were going to give you the reward for that. And unfortunately, this often manifested itself with you might be on a date, you're sitting at your table, you pull out your phone, you go to check in, and the satellite's not that great, the Wi-Fi's not that great. Actually, we need you to walk out the front door outside in order to get in the sky so you can check in. Not very romantic, definitely nerdy. And this was certainly like an early barrier to entry for us that we spent a little time working on. Fortunately, we finally solved that. We got a little bit smarter with how we were interpreting location data. And it ultimately manifested itself with us launching a new version of Gowalla. This is Gowalla 2.0 that we actually released at South by Southwest a couple weeks ago. This is a shot from Mellow Johnny's bike shop. Mellow Johnny's is a shop that's it's owned by Lance Armstrong. And you can check or stamp your passport there, but one of the things we started playing around with was the idea, again, of these virtual goods that you could collect. And this is a can of Sweet Leaf tea. It's a local Austin brand. And people who checked in at Mellow Johnny's had a chance of actually finding one of these cans of tea. If you found one of these, you could take it to Sweet Leaf's headquarters and redeem it. This was a brand new flavor that they had never released before, and they ended up with people coming down to their headquarters to pick up their tea and interacting with their customers in new and unique ways that never before been possible. South by Southwest was really interesting for us. It was definitely, there's been a lot made of the hyper-local geolocation wars, or whatever it is that MG is calling them. But it was a real positive thing, I think, for the industry as a whole. Our user base grew over 50% in the weeks that came out after South by Southwest. We had 65,000 new passports that were created. And one of the big new features we added was the idea of being able to take a photograph and slap it on the wall, virtually, of course, at the place that you're visiting. So everything in Gowalla kind of operates in this box of people, places, and time. And we're looking for the content that happens at that intersection. And photographs are now a part of that. Conversations are now a part of that. And again, with time being that other angle beyond just people and places, we're able to allow somebody to check in at an event like the Ev Williams keynote. And so this was actually, at the time, the most checked-in event until it was broken by our party that evening. This is the stamp. You got Ev's face in your passport if you checked in at his keynote, and over 600 people did that. We experimented with giving away a lot of different, virtual goods that had various rewards that were tied with them at South by Southwest, including free tacos and some cameras. There's some other things up here that we gave away. I'm going to talk about the tacos, though. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday. We worked with a guy, friends of our, Axel and Tony are their names, and they have a taco truck. They gave away as many as 100 virtual tacos via Gowalla every day near the convention center during South by Southwest. And you could see people lining up to redeem these tacos at the truck. And the line would grow from 10 to 20 to 50 people. And because someone who had gotten a free one is bringing their friends along, Axel and Tony sold 10 for every one that they gave away. And these are photographs here that were actually taken by people who checked in at the taco truck. And so now we have like this memory, if you will, this snapshot of the people, the place, and the time that happened there. It's really, really remarkable. So if we can do that with tacos, why not burritos too? So today we're starting to actually work with Chipotle to put there's over 1,000 of their locations in the U.S. And we'll be experimenting with, can we actually use the same sort of passport and virtual good mechanic to drive traffic to restaurants like Chipotle. Some of the other interesting things that we're going to announce today as well as it relates to virtual goods. Friends of ours build one of the more popular clients for Twitter called Twitterific and they're releasing a version for the iPad this week. And we've actually scattered a number of these iconic Ollie the Bluebird icons. You can get them by going to Apple stores. And random people who actually check in will be able to redeem their icon for a real vinyl Ollie, which is kind of cool. And you start to see this weird overlap of the virtual world and the real world and the value that comes out of that. The New Jersey Nets are also giving away 500 tickets in pairs to their final home game at the Meadowlands. I realize it's the Nets. I'm just saying. There's a reason why there's 500 tickets to give away. That said, it's still a remarkable way to boost the attendance and also reward people for coming to the game. They're not only giving away those tickets, but 10 people who check in will be given jerseys, one of them signed by Dr. J. So these are remarkable things that people are doing, again, to drive traffic to their place. And this is fun. So Adobe releases Creative Suite 5 in 12 days. So starting today, they're going to be hiding an iconic copy of CS5 in 12 different cities around the US. And so today, someone has already gone and hidden a copy in San Francisco. My guess is that it's likely already been found. We'll see, though. And again, some people have equated to this like a virtual version of geocaching. And I guess that's kind of accurate, but it doesn't involve crawling through the bushes looking for a film canister. But at the same time, I think these are just remarkable examples of brands now that are diving into looking at how can we take people to real-world places and inspire them to go out and explore the world around them. We've talked about this idea of the free prize inside. And I think at Gowalla, that's something we really want to inspire people to go out, to share their favorite places, with the sense that every now and then you're going to share that location with your friends, and something serendipitous is going to happen. You're going to open the Cracker Jack box, and something special is going to pop out. And this may be a social encounter with friends that you didn't know were there. I checked in at Squaw Valley this last weekend, and during the course of the day, I ran into 6 friends that I had no idea were up there because we saw each other's check-ins. Inspiring unexpected journeys. I know a story of a guy who was driving down the street, and he popped Gowalla open, and I believe he's in Gary, Indiana, and he realized that Michael Jackson's birthplace was right down the street. And so, why not? And he ventured down the way to check in at Michael Jackson's birthplace. And when it's all said and done, we want to make people smile. We want to give people a reason to go out, to explore the world in remarkable and meaningful ways, and to share their favorite places with their friends. And I think we have a lot of work in front of us. The location space, and this is certainly all very young as it relates to location-based social networking. We're excited to be a part of it, and we're excited to be, I think, part of this community that's doing remarkable things. Really, thank you so much for your time today. If you've got feedback, please, I welcome it, and enjoy the rest of your day.